Bad Boys 4 box office results are in, guys. Welcome to Mirror Domains Movie News, your place for entertainment headlines. And indeed, this is a live news show for movie fans, where we talk about all the trending movie news headlines of the day, including what's your favorite Bad Boys movie. Hitman is out on Netflix, and I saw it over the weekend, guys. Ian McKellen talks about returning to Lord of the Rings, really. We got our first look at Knives Out 3. Awesome. Cool headlines. Well, where do we start off? I guess with the top story of Bad Boys 4 delivering huge victory at the box office, $56 million with the US debut. So, that's good. 104 worldwide. Not bad, not too shabby. I saw this movie, guys, over the weekend, and I thought it was pretty good. Let's go take a look at the official top 5 for the weekend of June 7th to the 9th. The top 5 at the box office goes: number 1, Bad Boys Ride or Die. Number 2, The Garfield Movie. Number 3, If. Number 4, The Watchers. And number 5, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, with Furiosa dropping out. Bummer, man. Bummer. So some good stuff there. Some, Lord of the Rings re-releases. That's right. Fellowship and The Two Towers came out 8 and 9. I never saw those, actually. They were playing like in the VIP theater. I just, guys, I saw like 5 movies in 4 days this weekend. So I was kind of like, there's only so much time during the day. Anyway, I would have loved to have gone to see those again in the theater. I'm sure they'll play them again at some point, and I do want to make sure that my niece gets the opportunity to see those on the big screen. I just because those are the extended cuts. Those were the extended cuts, right? So you got to have 4 hours of the day, 8 hours if you're going to see both. Run Lola Run re-release, only 275 theaters, 153. Yeah. Well, we start off with the Bad Boys. Let's take a look. Bad Boys Ride or Die, 56 domestically, 48 internationally, for a worldwide total of 104.6 on a budget of around 100 million. Okay, budget of around 100 million, and it makes 104 million opening weekend. That's its production budget back, but you got to remember marketing and whatever theaters take, so it's probably got to make around 200 to 250 million to break even, and it's well on pace, because next weekend Inside Out 2 is the only other film that opens up next week, and that's not the same audience that is the Bad Boys Ride or Die audience. Did you guys go and see this movie this weekend? It's been received fairly well, and I thought it was a good return to form for Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, I guess, for the most part. I'll be brutally honest with you guys. I was very, very forgiving of Martin Lawrence. Thespian actor Martin Lawrence is not. There's a reason why he's not in a lot of projects. He struggled with a lot of the dialogue early on, but when he's in that mojo, like when him and Will Smith are riffing off of each other, that's when it works the best. But when he's trying to carry stuff on his own, it's rough. But that doesn't matter. People who went out and saw this movie really liked it. 63% by critics, 97% by the audience, and it's a good, solid addition to the franchise, as I've been saying. I really like the third one. I like the fourth one as well. So later on in the show, we'll go through our ranking of your favorite Bad Boys movie here. We are a live show, so Homo in the live chat says, are you going to watch out Inside Out 2? I may on Saturday. I'm not rushing out Thursday or Friday to see it. I'm only going to go see it if my niece wants to go see it, and if we have time. I'm working Friday, Sunday, and Monday, so I'd have to see it on Saturday, and that's like going to be really busy at the theater. It's not a priority. There you go. Hourglass Vikings. I'd like to see an Armando and Reggie Bad Boys spinoff. MVPs, in my opinion. Armando and Reggie. Armando and Reggie. No, I'm thinking of Dorn. Who am I thinking of? Armando and Reggie. I didn't pull up the IMDb because I didn't think that we would need it, but here we go. Let's take a look. Mondo and Reggie. Armando is the. Oh no, that's the son of Will Smith, right? And Reggie is the stepson. Is that who that is? Like the ex, or well, he's not ex. He's still in the special forces, isn't he? That guy? Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be a real cool pairing. Actually, good call, Art Glass. DJ Khaled. Did anybody else laugh when what happened to DJ Khaled in that movie? Like, see, no, that's a good cameo. He's just coming in, you're having fun. It's like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. I had lots of fun with this. So, number one, box office, 100 million. Good job. Pomo says, I heard Inside Out 2 got mixed reviews and that it wasn't good as good as the first film. Well, it doesn't need to be, right? It's going to do what Garfield is doing right now. And Garfield is in the second spot. We can take some time to talk about Garfield. Garfield is not a very good movie, according to Rotten Tomatoes. People who go out to see it are not enjoying it or whatever. But it's made 192 million. This is one of those casualties of the box office right now. That's happening. The Garfield movie, fans said that they didn't like it. Let me pull up Garfield. And it's going to send the wrong message to the studio executives. Well, I guess the people who see it liked it, but the critics tore it apart. It's going to send the wrong message to executives that'll be like, well, look how much money it's made, and people want more of this. Except we don't. It's kind of like what's going on with The Strangers Chapter 1. The Strangers Chapter 1 had like an $8 million budget and has made like 32 million or something. Strangers Chapter 1, let's pull that up. Yeah, 37 million. So it's coming up to almost like 4 times the production budget, which means it's a success. But it's not a good movie, and it sucks because I like horror. But it's money returns like this that are sending the message to executives that, oh, people like this. Give them more of this kind of stuff. When we would not like that, we would prefer to maybe see more stuff like In a Violent Nature, which I also, whoops, that's Taylor. I also saw on the weekend, which is a little bit more like pushing the boundaries of what horror can do or cannot do. Yeah. Strangers Chapter 1, anyway. The Watchers, the other movie that came out this weekend, if hung in there in the third spot. The Watchers was the other new release, and that's that movie with Dakota Fanning where she gets, well, not held hostage, but stuck out in the woods. 11 million worldwide, 7 million domestic. I had trouble finding a budget for this, but Warner Bros. Paid $30 million to acquire it, to release it. So on top of whatever the production budget is, Warner Bros. Wants to get that $30 million back. And from my little hunting around for it, it was estimated that it was around, I think it was around $10 million budget, which is not that bad for a small movie like The Watchers. It's just about 4 people out in the woods. All you really need is some good cinematography, good acting, and you should be able to bring that movie in under budget. But they paid $30 million for it, which kind of set it back a little bit. It's not going to get that back. So it probably would have to make $40 million to break even, and it's not going to make that. It was a risk. I think Warner Bros. Will be able to use that maybe on their streaming services or something. Here's the thing. I liked the atmosphere of The Watchers. Like, I like horror. I like shots like this. I like being lost in worlds where it's gloomy like this and just kind of like, for me, that's just like home. I know that's kind of dark, but it's just like I want movies like this to succeed because I want to see more movies like this as opposed to movies like The Strangers. And it sucks because The Strangers made that money, right? And this isn't going to make that money. Now, for the people that did go out and see The Watchers, we did a review for it. 29% by critics, 53 by the audience. It did have some story issues. Yeah, it really did. But it has gotten me curious because the story was based on a book. And I want to plug this channel here. I just found out why the book wins book versus movie channel. This I don't know the name of this person because I just literally found it today, where she compares uh, plot points of the book and the movie together, and it's just her talking in front of the camera. Not a whole lot of graphics or anything in there, but you see, this is the kind of content that I like, and this is where I kind of maybe have to. I want to use my expertise in movies to create content a little bit more like this. Because, guys, as much as I love doing this live show, it's not getting traction. It's not getting pushed out to the people. And yeah, as I can continue doing it, but we gotta find a way to pivot and get more engagement with people. And maybe doing something like this or taking a spin on it could be worthwhile as well. Plus, I also like really doing the shorts. But anyway, it's cool. It's cool when you find a little channel like this. 9.6 K subscribers, more than me, triple more. Yeah, yeah. So why the book wins? So that's always curious to me. All right, is that it for this weekend? No, more box office. China box office. Furiosa and Civil War both fizzle out in the Chinese box office. So, any hopes that Furiosa would gain a little bit more traction overseas? No. Again, a great movie. Not doing well at the box office. 144 million, and Furiosa it's a was a $160 million budget. It's going to inch over the production budget, but it's not going to make any profit, and it's going to be not a huge bomb, not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it's not going to make any money, and that sucks. That hurts because again, it goes back to that thing where I don't know if it was just the marketing or the time of year that they did it. They released it. I mean, this movie should have done a whole lot better because it's a good movie, and it sucks that it happens. And meanwhile, Strangers gets that great turnaround, and it hurts. It hurts, man. These results hurt. Argyle says Eric Dane as Banker would have been a great replacement for Ray Stevenson's Balin Skoll. Eric Dane. Do we let's pull up that. Well, I don't know why we're talking about Ahsoka. Oh yeah, because Bad Boys. He's the bad guy in Bad Boys, right? Yeah, he did. Yeah, surprisingly, he catches your eye in that opening scene, right? You're like, he looks a little bit recognizable. Do I recognize him? But he's got a menace to him. Like he plays it so casually, like when he's talking about killing people and stuff, playing out that scene. It's like, oh, this guy. You know who I saw in him? If because they're doing the live action Street Fighter. Uh, Maybe this guy could be our Master Bison. Put a bison cap on him. 51 years old. Yeah. But yeah, he's on my radar now. I'll be looking out for that. And yeah, you're right. Maybe he would be a good replacement for Balin Skoll. Apparently, the Watchers stays faithful and loyal to the book. So many flaws or gaps in the story are blindly followed on the big screen. Furiosa was good. I saw it on Screen X. Oh yeah, Screen X. Furiosa on Screen X would have been awesome, Pomo. That's where the screen they projected on the sides of the walls too, so you get like 3 panels of the screen. That would have been awesome. All right, is that it for the box office? It's not really that much more to talk about, right? You guys will have to forgive me. I don't know what it's been over the last 2 days or so. My voice has just been. I don't have a cold or anything. It just feels irritated. All right, where are we at? Will Smith. Let's talk about Will Smith because because we were talking about Bad Boys, and people are running with this narrative as well. Will Smith, has he finally been forgiven? And I'm not going to relitigate or whatever his uh, fiasco at the Oscars, but I have seen that he's out playing ball, uh, promoting Bad Boys, like showing up and watching movies with the fans, and then coming out later and surprising them, and everybody's kind of like, wow, wow. And it's this kind of a play which I think is very smart, because this will start to win you back favor. It'll be like, okay, yeah, no, at the base of it, Will Smith is a good dude, right? He cares about the fans. He cares about the projects that he's involved in, and this will make people come back around, right? It'll be like, wow, wait a minute, Will Smith was in the back of the audience there. That's cool, man. Yeah, and it's little ploys like that then will start to win back the audience for him. Will Smith tried to adopt the I Am Legend dog. Really? So it's little stories like this that are coming out now. This is more of like a puff piece, I suppose, because the I Am Legend was like 2007. I'm sure the dog is probably passed on by now. But it's like people are like, oh yeah, no, I remember Will Smith now. He was a good dude, and he was really good in Bad Boys Ride or Die. He did a lot of the heavy lifting, right? Um, Acting wise, um, but it was good. Was good. And I think it's time. I think yes. The answer to this question is, will Smith finally have been forgiven? Now there's still going to be like the few diehard people out there that'll be like, no, he hit somebody, so he should be what, thrown in? No, yeah. Chris Rock didn't press charges. Nobody pressed charges, so it's kind of like, you know, if you're out at the pub or something like that, and you guys get everybody who's a man has ran into butting heads with another guy, and it happens. You take a swing at each other, and then you just whatever, right? Afterwards, and then you learn to forgive and you move on. So it's time for, I would say, us as a society to move on. And looks like he's doing his bit to help mend some of the wounds that some people still have. So I think he's going to be forgiven. Give it like 2 or 3. People will be asking this question of Will Smith for maybe the next 2 or 3 movies down the road here, and I know he's going to have to deal with that. It'd be like, oh come on, guys, that was like so long ago. But he has to own it and just kind of like roll with it and say, yeah, um, it happened. I don't feel good about it, but now I'm out doing stuff like this, making fans happy, and he'll rebuild his image, and it'll take a little bit of time for people to heal, and I hope he understands that. All right, Joe Blow has a poll up and as to what's your favorite Bad Boys movie, and I'm thinking about maybe publishing like a quick little short video of my favorite Bad Boys movies, like ranking, right? Because there's only 4. I know that a lot of people like number 2, but I'm going to say Bad Boys for Life is maybe, because that third act in number 3 was really good. It's between number 1 and 2, or number 1 and 3 for me. But I'm thinking it's going to be 2, 1, 3, 4. 2, 3, 2, 1, 3, 4 is what people are going to vote. But I'm going to vote. I'm going to put my money on Bad Boys for Life. See what happens here. Yeah, see, Bad Boys 2, Bad Boys 1, 3, and then 4. But I'll tell you, Ride or Die is not a bad movie. It's really good. I would watch it again when it comes out on streaming for sure. And in fact, guys, my ranking is not. It's almost. It's not the opposite of this. Mine would go Bad Boys for Life, Bad Boys, Ride or Die, and then Bad Boys 2. And I know people really like 2, but for me, it was just Michael Bay got just too out of control in that one. By the way, did anybody laugh when you saw the Michael Bay cameo in Ride or Die? Did anybody else catch that? Um, he was the guy. Remember, they're running on the streets, and they stop in front of one guy, and he's like cursing them out. That was Michael Bay in the car. I thought that was fun. I was like, whoa. I think I was the only one that laughed in the theater. But you know what? There was laughs all around in the theater when I watched this. People were laughing with this. People are just having a good time with this, and that's why we go to the theaters, right? And I want to watch it again because of the cinematography. I couldn't find the shots of the marketing footage that I wanted to see, of them using the drones to go around like the old water or amusement park at the end and stuff like that, flying in through the buildings and stuff like that. Like that's really smart to use that drone technology. Arglass, Christopher says, "Hey James, are you going to be making another sequel to the Bad Boys Ride or Die?" I think so. I think they can do more, and I think what Arglass was saying too, maybe like include his son again, and then the stepson, the Marine guy, because that got laughs out of people too when he took those guys out and then he salutes. Yeah, Arglass, towards the end of Ride or Die, Marcus's techniques for snapping Mike out of his panic attacks would have gained some favor with the audience. Yeah, yeah. Do you think that that's what that was there? Like, they maybe because he was having the panic attacks that they were trying to maybe address that that fear in people a little bit. Arglass says Bad Boys for Life, then Original, then Ride or Die, and then Bad Boys 2. Yeah, so yeah, your ranking is pretty much the same as mine. Yeah, you have to keep your eye out for that cameo every now and then. All right, let's move on. I went out and saw Hitman over the weekend because Hitman was not available on Canadian Netflix. I don't know if did you guys watch it on Netflix? I don't know, Arglass, if you got to see it in the UK version or um, Bifer has the American version, so he saw it probably. Um, I saw it. I went to the theater to see it. So I like this movie, man. This was a good movie. I think I'm going to do like a best and worst part. I don't think I'm going to publish like a formal review. Formal reviews just don't seem to get traction anymore. Like even on the big channels, like the full length movie reviews kind of thing, they're small. And it's weird. The only way I could think I could continue to doing those full long movie reviews is if I just created a separate channel and that's all that was on there was movie reviews. That's a possibility. And then what we'll keep here, we'll keep the best and worst parts on this channel, and we'll keep the straight out of the theater reactions here on this channel. And then I'll say, hey, if you want to go watch, it just helps the YouTube algorithm because we cover so much volume of movie news coverage. I think the YouTube algorithm just doesn't understand it and push it out properly, right? We'll see. Anyway, I had lots of fun with this movie. 97% by critics, 93 by the audience. Uh, it was it was funny. It was really really funny, and I wasn't expecting Glenn Powell to pop as much as he did. Uh, Getting into the disguises and stuff like that, role playing. He does a great Patrick Bateman impression in this. Yeah, there he is, right there from American Psycho. So like he's having that kind of a fun uh, play with it, right? And then you get surprisingly invested with the characters. You're rooting for these two to succeed, right? You want them to have their love, right? And it gets surprisingly sexy at times. It's like, wow, I didn't expect it to. Oh, they're really going there. Like, I was mesmerized by Adria Arjona in this one. She did a really good job too, and it was a really good time at the theater. Now, I guess my weakest point is that it does go a little bit audacious in the third act, where it's kind of like, wait a minute, are we saying it's okay to kill people? Is that what we're saying? And then they admit that in the credits, right, where it's like, we made that part of the story up, which I don't think they needed to. I don't think they needed to go down that direction. But anyway, it was a lot of fun. Hitman. I really had a lot of fun with that, and I did do a straight out of the theater reaction for it, but it's like really windy. Like it was the parking lot didn't have any coverage for me to hide behind like a wall or something, because the wind was just going all around. And maybe I'll post it on on the shorts, because you'll notice the wind is really loud. Like, if you saw my Bad Boys Ride or Die, and you thought the wind was loud in that, it was really loud for my straight out of the theater Hitman, and I was like, I can't publish this. So maybe I'll. That's why I'll just do the best and worst part, because it's good and it's worthwhile watching on Netflix if you can. Argala says, yeah. I think I would have enjoyed Hitman as a limited mini series. Yeah, I saw that headline that people were saying that it might have worked as like a mini series where he gets to dress up as different characters per every episode. I was happy enough to watch it in a theater. Good movie. Oh, you went to the theater to see it, Argos. Okay, cool. Yeah. No, it was. And you know what? There was people laughing in the theater too. This got the laughs too. It was surprisingly charming. Good movie. What are people saying in the comments here? Hitman makes for an undeniable good time. Sometimes all you really need is a couple of impossibly attractive people enjoying each other's company, captured by a filmmaker who knows when to stay out of their way. Dana Stevens, for all its gritty genre elements, Hitman is at heart a cozy hangout movie, a minor but thoroughly enjoyable entry in Linklater's canon. Glenn Powell is a superstar. Yeah, that's what that article said here. The director says movie stars absolutely still exist, and Glenn Powell proves it. You know, he is. He's a good talent, and between this and Twisters that comes out next month, and he had like uh, he did Top Gun Maverick last year. He's riding a high, and that's why he's in such demand. And he's in the fortunate enough position now where he can pick his projects. He doesn't have to he doesn't have to take a project because he just needs the exposure. He doesn't need to take the project because he wants the cheddar. He's now in the position where he's a little bit where he can be like, okay, I'm thinking about my career and posturing. Where do I want to go? Do I want to continue with the big pieces like Twisters, or do I want to focus in on more minor pieces where I get to stretch myself as an actor, that kind of thing. And yeah, Linklater thinks that movies are now too childish. Well, yeah, I could see that angle, but I would say no. Uh, the big blockbusters perhaps are, but I don't think Deadpool and Wolverine will be. I don't think that will be. So we'll see. Yeah. Arglass says you should save your Hitman review and release it during Twister's review. So method. Yeah. Chris Schober, do you remember alligator scene in Bad Boys Ride or Die with Martin Lawrence? The scene was funny. Um, what was the name of the alligator? Was it Gary or something? The albino one? Yeah. That was a good scene too. And you knew that the guy who played the first Mr. Fantastic, that guy, when he was falling down, he was like, yeah, no, he's going to get his. What was the name of the gator, guys? It was a weird name. It was like uh, Let's see. I don't know if the IMDb will list it or not. Duke. Yeah, that's it. Duke. Thanks, Hourglass. Yeah. Let's see if they say. No, they're not going to list it. Let's see. Yeah, see, Michael Bay, Porsche driver. Yeah, it was a good time. It was. And it's going to have a nice little second run here, second weekend at box office fair. Ian McKellen is in the headlines. Ian McKellen says he would reprise Gandalf under one condition. Yes, because they're making the Hunt for Gollum movie. Andy Serkis directs, with Peter Jackson producing prequel, obviously, Hunt for Gollum. We heard that Viggo Mortensen would be up to returning. Would Ian McKellen as Gandalf be open to returning? His one condition is that if he's still alive. So speaking with the Times, he confirmed there is no script, there is no offer, there is no plan. But if they were to offer him a role, if he's still alive, he would do it. And Ian McKellen's getting up there. He's like 86, I want to say, 85. So he still act. Obviously, some like uh, Clint Eastwood is in his 90s and he still acted and directed. So I don't know, but some people just don't want to walk away from it and enjoy the final years of their life with family and stuff. But he said he'd be open for it. He's always a player. And from what I hear, he's a good man, a good person, a real mensch. Like he always talks to the fans and stuff like that. And I would like to just like he's a legendary actor. He like when you hear him talk about like Shakespeare and stuff, like he studied the language and the way that it was written, right down to each line. He could just talk about it for a long time. The nuance in it. I got nothing but the topmost respects for Ian McKellen. And if he were to return, that would be cool. Could be a little fan servicey if it's played wrong, but I think most of us don't care about that. He's just a beloved character, and I think that would be awesome. Ian McKellen is still pretty spry for his age compared to Patrick Stewart. Yeah, Patrick Stewart, he's starting to show his age a lot in his voice. His voice isn't as strong as it used to be. Ian still has it though. We'll talk about Patrick here in just a little bit, but we'll see. The Hunt for Gollum movie is going to be shooting soon, I guess. They want it for 2026, right? There he is with it, talking about Shakespeare. Anyway, next, Knives Out 3 first look. We got our first image from Knives. Well, is it really though? It's our first look at Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc from Knives Out 3. Well, we knew that he was coming back wearing a three-piece again. It's just a black and white photo. See if I can blow that up just a little bit. No, I can't. Bummer. Now, a little bit more facial hair. Wait a minute. Did he always have long hair? I don't think so, right? Anyway, I'm looking forward to this. Knives Out 3 is going to be a lot of fun. It will be on Netflix, and we will watch it together. Let me see if that's listed. Kaylee Spaney, Josh Brolin was added to the cast. 2025. So when that comes out, we'll do a full live watch along. Andrew Scott, Jeremy Renner, Kerry Washington, Mila Kunis, Thomas Hayden Church, Glenn Close. Big cast. Benoit Blanc has a lot more hair than this. What did he have in Glass Onion? It wasn't long hair, was it? No, it was more of a comb over part. A little bit longer hair there. But that's okay, whatever. Benoit Blanc. Benoit, yeah. I see. Okay, I see what you did there. That's Hey Mitch. Whatever. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Expected in 2025, guys. Deadpool and Wolverine has a new poster out. Let's take a look. Yeah, because it was like Best Friends, National Best Friends Day over the weekend or something. So they released like a small teaser, new poster, only in theaters, July 26th. I'm starting to think that maybe I should pre buy my tickets. Like, I was like, no, because there's always going to be shows added. And I was like, I've never seen a sold out show in a long time. But the people that I've been talking to, this movie's getting a lot of buzz, and people have pre bought their tickets, even in my little neck of the woods. I'll see it no matter what, anyway. In theaters. What do you guys think? New image? Yes? No? So so? Oh, this is a story I wasn't really looking forward to covering, but everybody seems to be chiming in on it, so we will as well. Eric Kripke comments on complaints about his social commentary about The Boys. Yes, the showrunner for The Boys over the weekend came out and said the show is about Donald Trump. So the main character here is based and is supposed to represent Donald Trump. So if you guys and then he says if you don't like it, then go watch something else, right? And then he says he in this one he's talking about it being woke. If anyone wants to call the show woke or whatever, that's okay. Go watch something else. But I'm certainly not going to pull any punches or apologize for what we're doing. So he's making it an allegory for some politics or whatever. I just don't know if it's pro Trump or not because I never watched the show, guys. So I guess for me, unless somebody comes out and tells me that it's like they poo poo all over this character, as long as they don't idolize this character, and I know that it's supposed to be satire. Uh, like as long as he's not supposed to be like the savior for everything that's good, then someday, somewhere down the road, I might watch a few episodes, but it's not a priority to me. Something about it since its inception never sat well with me. So it's probably not going to be on my radar. That's pretty much where I weigh in. Why's Prabhas trending here? So you got a new movie coming out? Kaliki, what's this? Kalki 2898. Has he got a sci-fi movie coming up? I know people want Prabhas to do Bahubali 3, right? I watched the trailer for Hindi and Telugu, and the visuals and attention to detail are stunning. Saho was just, yeah. Anyway, we don't need to talk about that. All right, passing the torch. This is a cool story. All right, so let's see if I can blow that up a little bit. Now, Has any franchise successfully passed the torch? This caught my eye. Thinking about older franchises that tried to continue on with a new MC or team replacing old rather than just starting from scratch, I couldn't really think of any franchises. Ghostbusters? Did the Ghostbusters really? No, they haven't really. They haven't really passed the torch because, well, because passing the torch means the old team goes away, and still the in the new Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire, and the previous one, the bad guys are still part, or sorry, the old team is they're still part of the movies. Passing the torch means okay, we're part of the franchise for a little bit, and then you're carrying it from now on, kind of thing, right? Is that the way? Or am I? No, no, no. I guess it means like the older team are not the main characters anymore. It's it's uh, the new cast that the uh, are the main characters, right? Indiana Jones and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull brought in Shia LaBeouf to be Indy's son to take the reins, but that didn't happen. Yeah, and then there was also supposed to be like Jeremy Renner handling the Mission Impossible series, and that didn't happen. So they definitely tried to hand things off, and it hasn't worked. Let's just take a look. Star Trek, they did it successfully on TV. Oh yes, that's what I pulled. I pulled Star Trek: The Next Generation because they did it brilliantly. Where uh, the old, like the Next Generation cast came in and equally, if not better, than what the original Star Trek did. And we were talking about Patrick Stewart here when he says like when he's doing his lines in the latest season of Picard. Yeah, you can tell that he's 80. He's up there in his mid 80s, right? But yeah, I would issue Star Trek. I'd be on board with that. Um, Arglass says Cobra Kai has been successful. Okay, yeah, yeah, I would say so. How many seasons? They got 7 seasons out of it. This may be the only worthy TNG. Yeah. Okay, a lot of Star Mission Impossible, Born. No. Any other suggestions? They said Ghostbusters, but I don't know about that. The Rocky series moved nicely onto the Creed movies. Yeah, Creed did a good job. The most recent Planet of the Apes. No, but that because the reboot was more. They never went with the Heston version, right? That one's arguable. They could have easily gone for a direct descendant, but they didn't. Batman Beyond, people say. Stargate. James Bond. James Bond, for the most part, tries to. Arglass says Jurassic Park to the Jurassic World. Yeah, money wise, Jurassic World. Bond is a little bit tricky, though, because I see Lazenby is mentioned right in this. But you know what? Lazenby, he kind of shot himself in his own foot because they had offered him like a 3 or 4 picture deal, and it was Lazenby's direct agent that told him not to do any more James Bond. They said hold out for better work projects. Well, look, well, look how well that worked out for Lazenby. Yeah, let's see. I thought about one about Scream, even though that we're going back now to the well with Nev Campbell coming back for Scream 7. I thought that Scream did a good job of handing it over to Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega. I thought they did a very good job of handing that over. Uh, and it just so happened that Jenna Ortega just skyrocketed through the roof with Wednesday and stuff like that. So I thought that was good. We need to watch Scream 6 sometime this year as well, right? To finish out that franchise. It's going to be interesting to see her back, though. All right. Is that it? Is that all I got? Law and Order? That's a TV show, man. Jump Street series? No. X-Men to X-Men First Class? Maybe. Mad Max? No. No, I don't think Mad Max. Because it was still Max in the movie. It was just played by Tom Hardy. Blade Runner. There you go. That's an awesome one. Blade Runner 2049. That was fantastic. Doctor Who counts, right? No. Scream 5 there, so somebody said Scream 5. Cobra Kai right there. Yeah. Interesting choices. I thought it was just curious. All right, so is that all I got? Okay, yeah. I did go out and I saw In a Violent Nature over the weekend as well. And then when I came out, it was really windy as well. I was like, for God's sakes. Anyway, I went and saw this at the Art House Theater last night. 83% by critics, 44 by the audience. And I was interested in seeing this movie because it was getting good buzz. People were saying that it was like a really interesting take on the slasher flick. And I like parts of it. In fact, in my theater that I went to 3 days ago, the cast was at that art house theater that I have here in town because they must have shot this close to where we live. Maybe up in the Algonquin area or something. In a Violent Nature, um, felt very much like a Jason Voorhees spec script. Basically, what happens is that these campers come out and take his mother's necklace, and it wakes him up. This killer, and he's zombie or super strength or whatever. Same sort of aspects of Jason, and he goes around killing people. Now, it's different in the fact that it's pretty much told from his point of view. So you follow a guy walking around in the woods for a lot of time, and you may like that. It slows down the pace of the movie quite a bit. It does get gory at times, but there was a point in it where it was like, for me, it was too much. Um, I was like, okay, I get it. We're following him around. But for sometimes, like the shots of him walking through the woods are like 40 seconds, like lingering on a minute, him just walking through the woods. And we're like, okay, I get it. They do truncate it a bit by cutting down some of the scenes of like, it'll snap forward of him like from here, then you'll see him walking up here. But a large of the chunk of the movie is just him walking around. And it's an interesting angle. I like how they cut down on acting, because if you remember, if you play those video games like Tomb Raider or uh, Solid Snake or something, whatever, uh, when you're creeping around, coming up on people, and you can hear dialogue in the background, and they're giving exposition to the story and stuff as you're walking up to them. It's like that. So you can't tell if the actors they are actually acting out the lines or not, but they got good voice actors to come in and do it. Or it could be them, but you don't see close-ups of the actors saying the dialogue. You just hear them, and then he walks up, and one of them turns around and shit, he kills them, right? So it's interesting in that aspect. And there was a couple of times where yes, it lingered too long. Um, because him walking around in the woods it's a shtick, and I think overplays its welcome for some people. I'm guessing that's why the score is 44%. Critics will like it because it is different in that fact that we're following around him. It's not high octane or anything like that. Top critic. Like a swift axe to the skull in a violent nature is blunt and makes no excuses for itself. How refreshing. Imagine the Dardenne brothers got very high one night on some. What? Okay, so let's take a look at some of the audience. Very slow. I appreciate the art and the perspective of the movie coming mostly from the killer's point of view. Kill scenes were mostly great, but overall story just didn't keep me locked in. Yeah, and that's going to be an issue for people. It was a good attempt to make a new updated 80s slasher, but it was just as much padding in the film. Like they had no idea how to fill out the story, so they just like, let's film him walking around slowly in the forest to build tension. And yeah, that's what I was saying. Is that there was a point where I was like, okay, guys, we get it. Um, we're following this guy walking around in the woods, and it carries on a bit too long. This may have worked better as a short film. Yes, I'm going to say that. It would have worked better as a 25-minute movie. I'm trying to pad it out for 30 or an hour and 30 minutes. It may be overstated its welcome. It was an interesting watch, though. I didn't hate myself watching it. Arglass says, did Johnny the Corpse kill the cameraman in the final scene? No spoilers? No. Hourglass in a violent nature was a video game, it would have been a tedious walkthrough. Yeah, walkthrough. I see what you did. Um, but for the cost, like the low budgetness of it, like you do see him walking through the woods here quite a bit, and that's the bulk of the movie, guys. And there's no soundtrack, so where I found it was lacking. Um, you know how Nightmare or Friday the 13th uses the soundtrack to punch up some of the scares. There's none of that in here. It's just him walking up to the person and then going or ramming the hook through somebody or something like that. And that's going to work for some people. It's an interesting take. We haven't seen really that before. So that's why the critics like it. It's not, what's the word? Audience friendly. And that's where I would leave in a violent nature. It's not audience friendly. It's not newcomer friendly. Like if this is your first exposure to a horror film, it'd be like, ooh, what am I watching here? This is for seasoned people who have watched horror movies a lot, and that's what I would say. I'm glad I watched it. All right, is it one of the best horror movies of the year, James? Yeah, no, this must be in Ontario somewhere because they're wearing mosquito masks. Or, yeah, I'm surprised they got bare arms. This guy knows. This guy knows. He's wearing the long sleeves. This guy knows too. Surprised, yeah. Or maybe this guy does have sleeves on. Looks like he's got a mosquito jacket or something. Black flies. Oof, yeah. It is interesting. Stop showing Taylor's butt. Anyway, that's all I have in the can for today. Where are we at? 55 minutes. Let's go over to the Twitterverse, see if we round anything up. It was kind of a slow day. I couldn't find a whole bunch of stuff. Why is that like that? Yes, I follow Mance. Next, a sequel to Practical Magic is officially in the works. Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman. Cool. If they're coming back. I like that movie. Diane Wiest, Stockard Channing, right? Were the mothers about some witches, and uh, they had good on-screen chemistry. These two, they were sisters, right? One wanted to use magic and one didn't. To find love. IMAX poster for Deadpool and Wolverine. That one's kind of funny. Glenn Powell. I watched The Contractor, starring Chris Pine and Ben Foster over the weekend. It was serviceable. Chris Pine was good in the lead. The Contractor. It doesn't seem to ring a bell. New poster for Deadpool and Wolverine. First look at Daniel Craig. Yeah, we talked about that. Inside Out 2 has surpassed pre-sales for Inside Out. Zendaya for Lacombe. Ugh. Danny and Michael Philippou's new horror, Bring Her Back, has begun filming. Sally Hawkins. They did Talk to Me. I wanted to watch Talk to Me with you guys. Can't do it today because of the voice. Chapter 1 of Strangers, Chapter 1, 35 million. Yeah. All right, guys. I don't see anything else here that we've. House of the Dragon season premiere in 1 week. So next Sunday, guys, is when House of the Dragon comes up. So we'll be watching that for sure. Godzilla X Kong: New Empire has become the highest grossing monster movie worldwide. What is it now? Is it still on the charts here? Take a look. 567. No, that's good. All right, guys. Yep, that's about an hour for me. Voice is starting to go. Oh, yeah, I was going to look up The Contractor. What's that? 2022 film? Or is it a series? The film. Huh. Might have to check that one out. It's on Amazon. Fascinating. All right, guys, that's it for me. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, pay attention for the few shorts I'll publish later today about Hitman and In a Violent Nature, and maybe my ranking of the bad boys. We'll see how uh, how ambitious I feel. If not, I'll see you tomorrow right here on Mirror Domains.